In Alcatraz prison, the night begins like any other.
Okay, rack
'em. Quiet. Orderly. But behind the seeming normality, 3 prisoners are about to attempt the impossible. They are going to escape from America's most secure federal penitentiary. A forbidding fortress rising out of the San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz is home to America's most hardened criminals. This is where the likes of Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly do hard time. By the 1960s, prisoners know that Alcatraz is the end of the line.
Alcatraz was considered the most secure prison in the United States.
The prisoner's plan begins with the discovery of a single weak point. An old air ventilator located in the roof above B Block isn't sealed with concrete like the others. By dismantling the ductwork, a prisoner could squeeze through the opening and onto the roof. But to get to the ventilator, they have to get out of their cells. Other than the impregnable cell door, a 5 by 9 inch metal grate is the only exit point. Just inches behind the grate is a narrow utility corridor. Pipes snake up the walls directly to the target ventilator. Get through the grate, and the prisoners can get onto the roof. A network of conspirators provides the necessary tools.
Mostly it was cell house workers who were passing around items. Maintenance workers, kitchen workers, electrician, guys in the clothing room.
Darwin Kuhn is a former Alcatraz inmate.
John Anglin come to me one day on the yard and he said, "We're going to slip this place if we can, and I need some help with some tools." And I said, "Well, whatever I can do, John, I'll do for you, you know."
They build a drill out of spare machine parts, and they use sharpened cafeteria spoons to dig through the concrete wall. They hide their progress with false grates, meticulously crafted from cardboard sheets and tobacco boxes. It takes months to complete the job. But on the night of June the 11th, they are finally ready to go.
Lights out.
But there's another big problem to take care of.
Correctional officers were constantly patrolling all through the night. They made an official count to see if everyone was where they were supposed to be.
If their empty beds are spotted, Morris and the Anglins know the game is up. Their solution is the plan's masterstroke. Using wire frames, plaster, soap, flesh-colored paint, and human hair, the inmates make detailed replicas of their own heads.
Clarence Anglin, the youngest brother, was a barber. So the hair they put on those dummy heads, he carried in his pockets.
They place them carefully on their pillows and say goodnight to Alcatraz. The plan goes off without a hitch. But there's one final obstacle between the prisoners and freedom: the San Francisco Bay. Morris and the Anglins know other prisoners have made it to the shore, only to drown in the unforgiving bay.
The water around Alcatraz is cold. It's treacherous. About a half an hour in there and it's all over for you.
So they come up with a novel alternative to swimming: life jackets and an inflatable raft constructed from raincoats.
John Anglin asked me, he said, "You got a raincoat?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Wear it out on the yard and I'll wear it back in." So that's how he got my raincoat, which wound up in the rubber raft that they made.
It has taken months and more than 50 rubber raincoats to build the watertight vessel. Now, a modified concertina inflates the raft. But will a handmade, untested raft survive the nearly 2-mile journey to the mainland? If the raft fails, Morris and the Anglins will have no choice but to swim for it, and will almost certainly drown. But if it works, they will achieve something that other prisoners have only dreamed of. The Alcatraz escapees head out into the night, braving the San Francisco Bay in their handmade raft. They are never seen again. At the time, officials claimed a raft was never found. But this FBI teletype, dated June 12, 1962, the day after the escape, indicates clearly that a raft was recovered. The location? Angel Island. A day later, a U.S. government memorandum makes the same claim, but adds a startling detail. Footprints are spotted leading away from the raft. But if a raft was recovered, it was never entered into evidence. How that happened, and why these documents have only just surfaced, remains unknown. As for the escapees, reaching the island alive was the hardest part of their plan.
If they could get to Angel Island, there are also other boats on the other side of the island they could have had access to and gotten to the mainland.
The June 13th memorandum also contains another bombshell. It's long been believed that no cars were reported stolen at the time of the Alcatraz escape. A key argument against the fugitive's survival. But the day after the escape, police departments in the Bay Area are on the lookout for a stolen car.
It was like a 1955 blue Chevrolet.
According to the memo, a driver is forced off the road by 3 men in a blue Chevy. He phones the highway patrol in Stockton to complain. An incredible scenario starts to become plausible. If the raft holds together, the escapees reach Angel Island and hopscotch over the strait to the mainland. As dawn breaks, they steal a car. By the time their empty cells are discovered, they're already racing toward freedom.
"50 years ago, 3 Alcatraz prisoners pulled off an escape from the supposedly escape-proof island prison. No trace has ever been found, and the mystery of what happened is one of the enduring legends of the Rock. Don Ford was at Alcatraz to mark the anniversary.
Alcatraz Island once held the most dangerous prisoners in America. 50 years ago today, bank robbers John and Clarence Anglin, along with Frank Morris, escaped, never to be seen again. And the question is, did they survive? The Anglin family and U.S. Marshal Mike Dyke met today on Alcatraz.
We take every case we work seriously, and this is just one of the cases we have to work on.
The Anglin brothers lived in these cells. Using spoons, they carved their way past concrete walls into a utility space, then onto the roof and down an outside pipe. Their raft of rubber raincoats was found on Angel Island, but the water around Alcatraz is dangerous and cold. Nephew David Weimer doesn't believe they drowned.
They would go out there and break the ice on the water in Michigan and swim in it, you know? So cold water was not an issue with them.
A lot of things that are unanswered. Mostly there's no bodies found, and statistically there should have been at least 1 or 2 of the bodies found if they died.
The Anglin boys grew up together with 12 other siblings. 2 of their sisters spoke about their brothers.
Growing up, they were not bad boys.
Convicted of bank robbery and still unaccounted for, the U.S. Marshal Service has issued these modern-day wanted posters for the only men known to escape Alcatraz, including what they would look like today. But Marshal Dyke is still amazed.
It was tremendous what you did to get off the island, because you can't deny that.
It's been 50 years to the day since those 3 got off of Alcatraz, never to be seen again. And the U.S. Marshal Service says they are as seriously looking for them now as they were 50 years ago. On Alcatraz Island, Don Ford, CBS 5.